Tonight on News 5 Live, former Minister of National Security John Saldivar breaks his silence 1 week after being designated by the U.S. government as a corrupt individual. The Mental Health Association speaks out about the waking death of Francis Ramos Jr. And the People's Constitution Commission is off to a fiery start in its augural meeting. These stories and more coming up on News 5 Live.
Great Belize Productions Channel 5, proud winner of 9 Caribbean Media Awards for 2021. Best Investigative Report, Best News Item, Best Coverage of People with Disabilities, Best Financial Literacy Journalism, Best Videographer, Best Television Commercial Spot, and the People's Choice Award, with 2 special mentions for Financial Literacy Journalism.
Smart introduces Real Unlimited Postpaid Plans, providing customers with unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data. Now that's a real great deal. With Smart Plus, Share 1 and 2, and Enterprise 1 and 2 plans, you can talk as much as you want, text as much as you want, and for the first time ever in Belize, you can enjoy unlimited data with your postpaid plan. So come in and sign up for an unlimited postpaid plan and enjoy limitless possibilities. In addition, other plans such as the Flex Junior, Choice, and Select have been boosted with a lot more talk, text, and data, providing you with the best value for your budget. Be unlimited with Smart.
It's time to power your dollar with Smart.
On Friday, November 24th, tune in to a special edition of Open Your Eyes at 6:30 a.m. live from outside the National Assembly building in Belmopan for a preview of the National Children's Parliament. Follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and catch our highlight reels on Instagram. Start your morning right, only on Channel 5.
Samsung's Black Friday weekend deals are almost here. Grab the real deal at the best prices of the year when you get your Galaxy devices at Cellular World stores on November 25th and 26th. Whether you're on a tight budget or looking to replace your phones or tablets that were damaged during the storm, Samsung cares in times like these. So we're slashing our prices on the full lineup of Galaxy phones. Get ready for the best deals of the year from Samsung. Budget phones start at a crazy low price of just $59. Mid-range phones for an unbeatable $325. And get the Samsung Tab A7 Lite for only $369. Mark your calendars to shop, save, and secure your purchase with Samsung's 1-year local warranty during Samsung's Black Friday weekend deals on November 25th and 26th at all Cellular World stores countrywide. Don't miss out.
Hey babe, I need some cash.
Okay, right now transfer some.
Short on cash? Make up the difference with V-Bucks. Transfer V-Bucks quickly and easily. Enjoy your shopping experience at V-Mart or any other Benny's entity and get rewarded today.
Mom, nothing fast, but how you do this now?
V-Bucks?
V-Bucks, rewarding loyalty.
It's that time of the year when all that stands between you and all of this is...
Give me 5, give me 5, give me 5!
That's all it takes. Get your coupons at Channel 5 and Coney Drive and Channel 5's website. Then, starting Monday, December 5th, keep those phones close and tune in to Channel 5 at 8 p.m. as we start our nightly giveaways until Friday, December 9th. Remember, when the phone rings, don't say
Hello.
Say, give me 5.
Taking its name from the venerable father of the nation, the George Price Highway stretches 77 miles from Belize City to Benqueviejo. Originally built in the 1930s, this cross-country highway system is the artery that links Belize to Central America at the western border with Guatemala. That connection facilitates overland trade, supporting Belize's economic development. Winding its way across the scenic countryside, the George Price Highway from Roaring Creek to Esperanza has been fully reconstructed to meet international standards, with particular emphasis on road safety. A shorter and hassle-free commute is best enjoyed when everyone obeys the traffic laws. To reduce the number and frequency of road traffic accidents, it means that a seatbelt must be worn at all times and the speed limit observed when traveling along the highway. It also means that pedestrians must use sidewalks and crosswalks where available. Buses should only board and discharge passengers at a designated bus stop. Road safety is everyone's responsibility. It begins with you.
It started innocently. It looked fun. It looked cool. But then I got hooked. And it had its downsides. I couldn't keep up physically. It started to put a strain on my life and the lives of my loved ones. And I got sick. Really sick. And I realized I was losing. But I knew what I had to do.
I will be there. Thank you so much.
Why are you so excited?
Let me tell you a secret. I just got off the phone with Santa.
Hi, Santa. For Christmas, I want a pea shooter, a football. iPhone and a makeup for Christmas.
Oh, Ramon, 1 second.
We just learned that Santa's phone number has just been revealed. The number is 227-7132.
I'm sorry, Dad. I shared Santa's phone number.
This newscast is brought to you by the Belize Bank Limited. Our country, your bank.
Good evening and welcome to News 5 Live for Thursday, November 24th. I am Sabrina Daly. This afternoon in Belize City, former Belmopan area representative John Saldivar broke his silence following a lengthy absence from facing the media. The erstwhile Minister of National Security convened a press conference at the Belize Institute of Management, sans his attorney, to discuss the latest development in his political career. As many are aware, he was designated by the United States government last week as a significantly corrupt individual in public life. The sanction follows a series of allegations made against Saldivar while he was a government minister serving under the Barrow administration. The designation prohibits Saldivar and his immediate family members from entering the United States. It's a classification that Saldivar says he is prepared to fight tooth and nail to clear his name. We begin tonight with our coverage of Saldivar's press conference, arguably the first time in many years that he has fielded questions from reporters.
My child of 9 years old, though not named in the actual information sheet, is targeted by this action. My son of 15 years old has been named. My other son, who has lived the last 16 years in the United Kingdom, has been named, as well as my daughter, my eldest daughter, who has also lived in the United Kingdom for the last 16 years, has been named, as well as, of course, my wife. I find this to be egregious. I find this to be unjust for them to also be targeted on this. In this, not to mention that I find it unjust that I be targeted without any opportunity at all to respond to the charges. But this is not just about John Saldivar. This is about human rights of all. This is about natural justice. This is about due process. Let me state, therefore, for the record, as I have stated many times before, I am innocent of any allegations that have been made against me. At no time have I participated in any corruption at the Immigration Department while I was the minister, or even before or after. And there can never be any proof brought out against me in that respect. I challenge the United States government to provide that proof. I have no difficulty in facing a trial, whether here in Belize or abroad in the US, once those evidence are presented to me, so that I may answer properly. I am not a corrupt person. As a matter of fact, I have conducted myself in public life. You would almost want to say that, as the saying in Creole goes, Maklala look like snake for me when it comes to corrupt acts. I have guarded my reputation. Unfortunately, incidences like the one with Lev Derman, again, where I was not involved in any corruption, have cast aspersions on my reputation.
Designation aside, Saldivar's political future hangs in the balance. The defeated politician is offering himself as a candidate in an upcoming UDP convention where he is running against several others, including George Lovell, Khalid Belize, and Emil Torres. But at what point is he prepared to throw in the towel amid all the allegations of impropriety that have dogged him for the past 7 years?
Mr. Saldivar, for several years, you have been dogged by a number of allegations.
I have been wrongly accused.
However you want to phrase it.
No, not however I want.
It looms over your head.
No, man, but you see, this is what I'm saying. I did this long commentary before you ask your question that gives your opinion, because that is an opinion. That is all it is. I have been accused without evidence. I've never been convicted of any crime. But proceed.
Forgive me. I'm not here to convict you.
Sure.
I'm simply saying that a number of allegations have loomed over your head as a public official when you were elected, when you were a representative, and when you held a ministerial portfolio. Allegations hung over your head. My question is simple. At what point do you concede that perhaps everything that is being placed against you, whether or not you're guilty or you're innocent, at what point do you say, you know what, for the purpose of the party that you represent, that you love so much, do you step aside and say, you know what, let me move on with my personal, private life and allow for the party to continue on, if it's to be viable in any form or fashion in the next coming election?
Whenever the people of Belmopan say that they do not wish for me to continue as their AO representative or standard bearer in this case, because obviously Jews will point to me that I lost the last general election, as I have lost twice before. I have been approved by my party to be a candidate in the upcoming convention, and I expect that that approval will stand. When the people of Belmopan say that they do not wish for me to be their representative, that's when I step down. And beside that, then it would have to be when I am found guilty of what I am being accused of. And to this date, I have not been found guilty. And in this last instant, not even the evidence has been presented against me.
Can embattled politician John Saldivar mount a legitimate legal challenge against the United States government? And what would it take for him to be successful in court? It's the question that many are asking in the face of his designation, notwithstanding the absence of evidence from the U.S. State Department. But Saldivar told the media today that he is primarily concerned with the upcoming convention and convincing voters in Belmopan that he is still the man for the job.
There is the possibility that the designation can be removed. And if I decide to explore that possibility, that is an option for me. What I do now, what I say now, is directed to my people in Belmopan especially, since I don't aspire to any national office. My people in Belmopan are the people that I appeal to in terms of saying to them, no evidence has been brought against me, and unless and until that is done, my people in Belmopan will respect my right for due process and for natural justice. And I'm confident of that. I have been on the street already over the last few days talking with my people, and they are not unfair. They are not people that will tolerate injustice, and this is an injustice. This is political persecution.
What strategy, what approach do you have to climb up from underneath this rock? Because if you are to offer yourself for any meaningful public position, this continues to hang over your head as a nightmare. What do you do to remove yourself or rid yourself of this dark cloud?
I think my troubles with respect to these things that dogged me and haunted me started perhaps in, if I recall, 2015 with the Danny Mason saga. This is 6 years later, and I'm still a major player in the politics of Belize. And there's a reason for that. Because the people who know me best, whether they be from Belmopan, in my constituency, or whether they be my colleagues in my party, who know of my innocence, who know how I behave, how I carry on myself with utmost care, those are the people who still have me as a viable option in politics. There are those who would want to say, I think I was declared dead many months ago by my friend, and recently it was declared that this is the final nail in the coffin. There's a convention that will come up in a few weeks' time. That is where the empirical evidence, not the perception that many are being guided by, That is where the empirical evidence is going to come out as to my reputation and whether I can crawl out from under all of this controversy. And I have said it earlier, I am confident that once I'm allowed to participate in that convention, I will defeat all those who come against me.
John Saldivar, during his time with the media this afternoon, also spoke about the use of the Coast Guard vessel under his tenure as Minister of National Security to ferry Lev Derman to so-called Coast Guard installations. Here's how he responded when challenged by reporters on that issue.
It appears that there are people beside the U.S. government, because I really don't give much weight to them trying to complain that, well, we give you this boat, so you must only use it how we tell you. That is rubbish. We are a sovereign government, and as the minister, I authorized for that to happen. I took take full responsibility for that.
Do you see it as an error of judgment?
I'm prepared to concede that it was an error of judgment in terms of only because we now know what was perhaps the reasoning behind it. But for me, there was nothing in it, but I do apologize, and I take this opportunity to say that it was possibly an error of judgment. But I don't know that it rises to the level of criminality, and certainly does not rise to the level of corruption.
But even, sir, if Lev Derman was without sin, using a public asset for a personal advantage because you wanted to fund your sports team, according to you. No. You wanted to sweet up the man. So
no. You're trying to get into my head. You're trying to get into my head, and that clip that you heard was me trying to explain Jacob Kingston's testimony. That's all that it was.
But you had something to gain.
Out of what? That trip? No.
Out of your relationship with Derman and that.
No, but not necessarily out of. No, that trip was not done in that spirit.
Coming up, Orange Walk resident beaten with metal bat survives attack.
Things like this create job for people basically, and creating job for people that benefit the people and their kids.
The people want the opportunities in Port Loyola that the Port of Belize Development Project will bring.
But I'm an IT technician, currently going to school to get my associate's degree in IT. If we're about to build a new cruise port, you know definitely technology will be introduced to Belize, things that we have never seen before. If this new port is not introduced, I can currently say right now, I have no place for employment for my new skills that I'm working hard and paying for.
What will be the wages if you're saying that you're going to employ people here in Belize? What will be the wage that you're going to give people?
There will be a range of new jobs that are created in the future. There'll be some fairly senior level jobs, and then there'll be some more junior level jobs. What I can say, however, is that based on the Social Security Board statistics, only 25% of Belizeans earn more than $420 per week, and about 80% of our existing staff are in that threshold, above $420 a week.
This is my position, and I hope that you get all the requisite clearances, fulfill the 4 pillars of sustainable development, and put the people of Port Loyola to work. Let the country benefit from the project. We need this project. It is good for Belize. It will benefit all of us. It will benefit all of us. There are 2 cadre of people from varying demographics within the room. I see Mr. Usher brother in the back, and yes, they support PUP, and yes, I am pro-UDP, but if we come together and support the project together and show the constituency that we want the port and we need the port, it will better us. It will better us. It will create the opportunities and give us the opportunities we need. We need to be independent. We need to be self-sufficient. And this is what the port project will bring to us.
Mr. Gira happened to be my brother. I always keep good close contact with him. He believes that with the project in port, there will be opportunities for the people of port there will be more job opportunities, better living condition, the welfare of the people will be improved, right? And if we stay in a bubble, that will never happen. So when an investor comes around and tries to do investment in an area that will affect the people positively, I don't see why anybody should be against it.
Once the port expansion is approved and all licenses and permits are secured, many hundreds of temporary construction jobs will become immediately available for Belizeans. After completion, there will be thousands of new opportunities for permanent jobs for Belizeans in food and beverage, retail, administration, maintenance, security, technology, management, mechanics, truck drivers, and many more areas. This is the Port of Belize today. This port could be the Port of Belize's future. The Port Development Project will prepare Belize for the future of shipping, the future of cruise tourism, and elevate surrounding communities for the future.
Hola. Disculpa por no llegar anoche. Lo siento. He estado hace tiempo con ganas de decirte algo. Últimamente estoy lidiando con mis problemas de salud mental.
I think if there was no stigma around mental health, I'd be more open about what I'm going through on the inside. And I don't know, maybe I'd find that other people in my life are actually going through the same thing.
Há alguns anos, comecei a contar para outras pessoas sobre minha ansiedade. Isso me ajudou a descobrir ótimas formas de como lidar com ela.
Soy muy sociable. Creo que si hablara sobre mis problemas de la salud mental, simplemente no lo creerían. Por eso no hablo de ello.
Me preocupa que si la gente se enterara de mi salud mental, pensarán que soy débil. Por eso me aislé. Pero creo que voy a cambiar esto.
Mr. Ronald Gordon, our Chief Met Officer, confirmed that Lisa made landfall at 3:20 p.m. yesterday, 3rd November, 10 miles south of Belize City.
The impact of Hurricane Lisa on Belize City has been devastating. Families' lives have been disrupted. People, livelihoods, business livelihoods obviously has been severely impacted. The goal really is to transform these hurricane weather-beaten streets and neighborhoods into livable, traversable spaces again. Getting back to some measure of normalcy. It's a wide cross-section of partners encompassing both public, private sector, of course being led by the government of Belize, the Ministry of Infrastructure. We have NEMO with us, we have CEMO, we have the Belize City Council, the Orange Walk Town Council, the BDF, the Coast Guard, and a wide scope of other partners. Obviously, their efforts here today is being met with great enthusiasm and optimism by the people of Belize City. For us at CITCO, it means more muscle on the ground to achieve the task. We face one of the greatest natural disasters ever brought upon the city in my lifetime, in their lifetime. We face it together. Now it's even more important that we face the recovery process, the rebuilding process together. We must exercise patience on all accord.
An Orange Walk resident is admitted at the Northern Regional Hospital tonight after he was struck multiple times to the head and abdomen with a metal bat just after 8 o'clock this morning. The frightening incident took place on Liberty Avenue in Orange Walk Town, in front of a number of residents. Fortunately, Diego Armando Mencias survived the attack. News 5's Dwayne Moody spoke with his cousin who witnessed the ordeal and rushed Mencias to the hospital.
It is not clear what exactly triggered the attack, but before 8:30 this morning, Diego Armando Mencias was seen running on Liberty Avenue with a vehicle in pursuit. Mencias was seen hurling stones at the vehicle seconds before the driver alighted with a metal bat in his hand and swung repeatedly. It all unfolded in front of a popular barber shop owned by Errol Pereira, who is also a cousin of the victim.
I come outside, I saw this person who I know my cousin is running, like from an attacker or something, and he suddenly stopped and started to throw stone at the vehicle. Then I saw the vehicle did a U-turn and waited for him, and when he walked towards the vehicle, the person inflicted some wounds with an iron bat that he had.
Police arrived on the scene shortly after as the badly injured Mencias laid unconscious and bleeding on the pavement. He was rushed to the Northern Regional Hospital.
The police vehicle is an old police vehicle. The pan of the vehicle can't open, right? So I had to take my vehicle, open the pan, put him in there and let the police take us to the hospital, lead us to the hospital or escort us to the hospital.
Pereira says that he's not sure what led to the attack on Mencias, but his cousin, who is an architect, is believed to have a mental health condition.
It happens so fast, you know, and my cousin, he suffers like mental problems or something, and I feel like I didn't act fast enough to save him. The attacker was very vicious and fast. I saw he struck him with the bat like 3 times to the head area and 1 to the chest area. And then that was when I intervened and I told him to stop because he's a professional and this guy is a mental patient. And he told me that it's sad, but he messed with the wrong person and mental patient belong where they belongs. I felt like I should have probably tried to stop him, but he was like a madman too. And I don't know what triggered him to get like that on that stage. And it happened so fast. Nothing else I could have done. And I really feel hurted and hurt that this was somebody that I knew. It's just not an animal. And I believe that the person could have reported that person and so that the law could have done his process.
Dwayne Moody for News 5.
The Mental Health Association has issued a statement in the wake of Wednesday's deadly officer-involved shooting that claimed the life of 48-year-old Francis Ramos Jr., an individual who had been struggling with mental illness. In the absence of adequate training and proper protocols on how to treat persons suffering from mental illness, the association says that Belize can adopt special training programs that exist in other countries. Krista Courtney is the vice president of the Mental Health Association.
It's rare that we're going to be able to solve it once it reaches crisis level. And it appears, I do not know the details of the situation, but it appears from what is available to us that was already a crisis situation, right? One of the things that Mental Health Association continues to advocate for, and I believe will have soon a little better participation from the ministries that need to be involved, is something like a forensic unit. So people who are familiar with how things work in other countries, there's a legal framework that protects the rights of all involved, that allows for police to detain persons who have announced or who have demonstrated in some way that they are a danger to themselves or someone else. We don't have that law or that structure in Belize. And so when families are faced with family members who are severely mentally ill or maybe uncooperative with maintaining their medication regimen or whatever treatment is available to them, we get into crisis situations that then there is no real protocol that allows law enforcement to intervene legally, because technically he had not yet committed a crime. But he may have. We really don't know. And we have seen situations where people were not able to take action ahead of time and a crime was committed, and you look and say, well, all the signs were there. We knew this might happen. Why couldn't we have done something? The truth is that the framework is not there, the protocol is not there, the training is not there, nor is the community response. Police officers are supposed to be that. Police officers. And while we say we can't expect them to know how to handle every situation, there are special training programs that could be brought to Belize quite easily.
A missing person bulletin has been issued for a Belizean American businessman who has not been seen or heard from since Tuesday afternoon. 66-year-old Owen Tucker Sr. was last seen in Biscayne when he left his recently purchased property, formerly known as Crockland. Work has been underway at the property, located about 2 miles off the Philip Gosen Highway, in anticipation of the grand opening on January 25, 2023 of the Washing Tree Eco Park and Resort. But Tucker, who cares for his elderly mother, cannot be found and both his phones are off. Today, News 5's Dwayne Moody spoke with relatives and friends of the missing man.
Relatives and friends of Owen Tucker Sr. are concerned about his safety after the 66-year-old businessman has not been seen or heard from for 2 days. It is not like him, says his son, who is currently deployed in Japan.
It's very concerning for me, the circumstances. He just hasn't been heard of. He and I talk almost every day via phone, either text or phone call, and his calls have been going straight to voicemail for about the past 48 hours or so.
I also talk to my uncle often, almost every day. He posts all the time on Facebook. He always has his phone on. So just reiterating what Owen said there, is just, it's very concerning. He's normally very responsive every time that I reach out to him. And he's very active on Facebook. He will typically post anywhere from, a few to 10 to 20 Facebook posts every day, and I haven't seen anything from him over the past 48 hours or so.
Tucker Sr.'s last post was on Monday, where he said, quote, "Discipline and consistency, they are the two character traits that define the outstanding performers. Hire accordingly," unquote. But it was Bernadine Reed, a close friend and employee of Tucker Sr., who sounded the alarm. She has since been able to confirm that Tucker was last seen by his employees at the property around 12:30 p.m. on Tuesday. He left, saying that he had a meeting. Since then, he has not returned home to care for his 88-year-old mother, nor has he been in contact with any relatives or friends.
I tried to call him on Tuesday, 12:30. I didn't get him. 1 o'clock, he didn't answer, so I went by his house and I blew. But nobody came out, so I know the lady that takes care of his mom was not there because the door was closed. So I drove and I came up here. I picked up Mr. Ramclam first. He lives just in front by Miss Arana. I stood by Miss Arana, I waited for him. He came and we came up here. So when we came, Mr. Ruben was not here, so except for the Mennonites who were working. So I took Mr. Ramclam around and I started to explain to him what I needed him to get done for me and stuff. That evening went, I didn't hear from him. Well, I started getting worried now. So Miss Lily, the lady that works at the house, said that when she got there at 9 in the morning, he was not there. He already left. I know that he went to the gym because he normally goes to the gym at 7. He walks with 2 phones. His US phone that his WhatsApp is on and his Belize phone. He always has on his US phone because he let you know that that's the way how his company gets in touch with him that's in the US. So he never takes off that phone. So for going on 3 days now and he's still not answering none of those phones, makes you wonder now what went wrong. As far as I'm concerned, that he came up, he paid Mr. Ruben, and Mr. Ruben said he left. That was on when? That was on Tuesday afternoon, and since then we have not seen nor heard from him.
Who he had an appointment with and where is also unknown at this time, but it's going on the 3rd night since he's not at home, and this is not like him. Reed says that they don't want to think that he has been the victim of a crime, but that maybe he did not take his medication. And so they're planning to search the area for him.
I don't want to think the negative part, but you and I know that after 1 day,
On Monday, we brought you the story of the robbery and murder of San Pedro businessman Elvis Polanco, a father of 4, including a 4-year-old daughter. While police were quick to make an arrest, the incident has left the family naturally distraught. Their only hope is that out of all that has occurred, Polanco could be served some degree of justice in death. The murder, though ruthless, is the only one so far recorded in San Pedro. And on Wednesday, when we revisited the island, the area representative for the Belize Rural South constituency, Andrea Perez, said that the incident does not represent what San Pedro and its almost 25,000 residents stand for.
We know the family is the hard-working family. He leaves behind a 3-year-old daughter. So that puts the community on a spot that says, what is our community heading in what direction? But what I can say is this is not our community. This incident does not define what the community is all about in terms of violence. So we need to be clear. It is an isolated case. Nonetheless, we're not going to put a blind eye to it. And again, it's the collaboration between the police department giving every single support about it, and as well as the council and leadership that we keep in touch as to these matters. I think that being a community that is tourist-oriented, the nightlife is very much vibrant here. But I think that this highlights that there's issues about controls. After midnight, whenever the people are participating and having alcohol consumptions after midnight, it's never going in a way that's going to be more productive. So working along with the liquor license committee is important. Now we're going to take a little recess and avoid giving those extensions. That's important.
The new cement bridge that connects both sides of San Pedro town in Boca del Rio should be ready for use by Easter. The crossing was deemed necessary after the Sir Barry Bowen Bridge, wooden bridge, almost collapsed in the latter part of last year. The planks were lifting and the structure was not sturdy enough for freight with construction supplies to cross over. The San Pedro Town Council has had to scramble to find $5 million for the construction of the new bridge, but also to repair the old one for use. When completed, the new cement bridge will have lights in the center for traffic going both directions. Minister of the Blue Economy, Andrea Perez, is the area representative for Belize Rural South. He told us that in order to avoid another situation like what happened in this case, there has to be a system put in place for timely maintenance of the bridge.
The old bridge has been broken up because it's dilapidated. You recall that in 2021 in May, 6 months after the Tongos are elected, that bridge almost collapsed. It was a hazard. So we had to scramble. And the mayor and I had to really see what we can do to seek immediate address to it. So that in itself made us build another concrete structure, which is already done. And right now we're repairing on it. It's only 18 months. While the image out there is that it's slow. I think in 18 months we made strides, big strides. But I can understand the desperation of our people after so many years of abandonment, the infrastructure dilapidating, almost in shambles. We're expecting by the end of next couple of months, it's quite finished and we're going to have a bridge in place, properly organized. We have to take into consideration what is preventive maintenance. Don't wait till it's totally dilapidated and we'll deal with it. If we put that mechanism in place, it becomes less expensive for the municipality and for the community.
After the break, providing electricity to remote communities in southern Belize. But first, here's the weather report from the Belize Meteorological Services.
Pleasant good evening everyone, with your weather report for today, Thursday, November 24th, from the National Meteorological Service of Belize. I am Crystal Rosales. Mostly fair conditions prevail over the country today, with only isolated shower activity and light rain along the coast and northern areas. However, a few moderate shower activity persisted offshore for most of the day. Going into tonight, skies will be cloudy at first and then becoming partly cloudy later on. Isolated shower activity is expected. Lows for tonight will be in the upper 70s along the coast, with Toledo experiencing about 75 degrees Fahrenheit, and lower 70s over the Corozal, Orange Walk, and Cayo districts. For tomorrow, skies will be sunny with a few cloudy spells and shower activity will be isolated. Then there is a chance for patches of fog to develop over inland and northern parts of the country during the early morning hours. High temperatures for tomorrow will reach mid-80s along the coast and lower 90s over the Corozal, Orange Walk, and Cayo districts. Now, taking a look at the next 4 days. Conditions will be fair tomorrow with only isolated showers developing, and an increase in shower activity will start late tomorrow, along with isolated thunderstorms along the coast. Then a few showers and isolated thunderstorms are expected for Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Here's our regional satellite imagery. A surface trough over the western Caribbean Sea is supporting moderate shower activity. Light to moderate showers were scattered across the rest of the region. And a cold front will enter the Gulf of Mexico tonight and move across to the southern Gulf of Mexico during the course of the weekend. And at this time, tropical cyclone formation is not expected over the next few days. Looking at our marine conditions, winds will be blowing from the east to southeast tonight and tomorrow, then become more easterly by tomorrow night. Seas will be slight with 1 to 3 foot waves tonight through tomorrow, then light chop with waves of 2 to 4 feet tomorrow night. And now for our astronomical conditions. A low tide occurs at 5:15 in the morning and then a high tide at 11:34. A low tide occurs at 4:22 in the evening and then a high tide at 10:28 at night. The sun will rise at 6:03 in the morning and set at 5:15 in the evening. Moon rises at 7:51 tomorrow morning and moonset at 7:05 tomorrow evening. This weather report was brought to you by the National Climate Change Office through UNDP's Climate Promise from Pledge to Impact project. Thank you and join us again tomorrow for another weather report. Have a good evening.
My lights, yeah. Go to my lights, go to my lights. You gotta go to my lights, yeah. I wanna shine, 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 shine. I hit my lights cause that's my plan, 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 plan. My lights have your favorite brand, 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 brand. Just come with nothing in your hands, 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 hands. My lights. And it goes on and on and on. It goes on and on and on, yeah. I wanna celebrate with my lights. Sing yeah, yo, baby, let's go. My lights. I wanna celebrate with my lights. Sing yeah, yo, baby, let's go. We going to the stars, but we gon' do right. We gon' light a life. Only with my light. We going to the stores, but we gon' do right. We gon' light a life. Only with my light.
El periodo de registro para la Amnistía Belice 2022 será del 2 de agosto al 30 de noviembre. ¿Estás listo? Mientras te preparas, aclaremos algunos conceptos erróneos sobre Amnistía 2022. Si mi solicitud no es aprobada, ¿mi familia o yo enfrentaremos deportación? No. Amnistía 2022 es en cambio una oportunidad para que usted y su familia llamen a Belice su hogar de forma permanente. ¿Se requiere el pago al entregar mi solicitud? No. Solo se requiere el pago después de la aprobación de su solicitud. ¿Regalará Amnistía 2022 la ciudadanía? No. Si es elegible para la amnistía, la solicitud significa que tiene la oportunidad de obtener la residencia permanente en Belice. Para obtener más información y cómo presentar una solicitud, visita el sitio web www.immigration.gov.bz. Amnistía de Belice 2022. Continuemos construyendo Belice juntos.
introduces Real Unlimited Postpaid Plans, providing customers with unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data. Now that's a real great deal. With Smart Plus, Share 1 and 2, and Enterprise 1 and 2 plans, you can talk as much as you want, text as much as you want, and for the first time ever in Belize, you can enjoy unlimited data with your postpaid plan. So come in and sign up for an unlimited postpaid plan and enjoy limitless possibilities. In addition, other plans such as the Flex Junior, Choice, and Select have been boosted with a lot more talk, text, and data, providing you with the best value for your budget. Be unlimited with Smart.
It's time to power your dollar with Smart.
On Friday, November 24th, tune in to a special edition of Open Your Eyes at 6:30 a.m. live from outside the National Assembly building in Belmopan for a preview of the National Children's Parliament. Follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and catch our highlight reels on Instagram. Start your morning right, only on Channel 5.
An energy access workshop was held in Belize City on Wednesday to highlight the implementation of best practices in Belize while developing concrete steps in mainstreaming energy indicators. The development of an institutionalized energy access indicator will play a significant role in energy planning as a statistical tool to communicate to stakeholders and decision makers the need of energy services among the underserved populations.
This is the Energy Access Workshop, and it is being carried out in conjunction with Light Up Belize, sponsored by the European Union, and with CCRI. As you heard, Dr. Devon Gardner is one of our facilitators here today. And so the idea behind this workshop is to have discussions to see how we can, in one way, improve access to energy, not only in Belize, but across the nation. Across CARICOM, and as you know, this is also part of one of our events of Energy Month, which is celebrated in November. As you know, in Belize, unfortunately, we do not yet have 100% of our citizens with access to electricity, and so part of the discussions here is really to see how we can get more citizens connected. As you know, the pandemic showed us that teaching became critical online, and so electricity plays an important role in the development of our people. We are currently working on some microgrids for some of the villages in the south. We are hoping to soon be able to launch the microgrid that's going to be connecting 3 communities down there, and we're hoping to have that in December. And we're looking at alternative ways to how we can increase the coverage across the country.
The Ministry of Public Utilities, Energy, Logistics and Transportation is working closely with the European Union to install microgrids in 5 villages in southern Belize that are without access to electricity. According to data from the Public Utilities Commission, at least 10,000 Belizeans are still not connected to the national power grid. We spoke with Ryan Cobb, the Energy Director at the Ministry in Belize City, today, where he told us how they are planning to address this issue.
Under one of our projects, we are trying to achieve universal access. So we're trying to get electricity to all citizens of this country. That's easier said than done, to be quite honest. But through a partnership with the European Union, under their European Development Fund, we are looking to do pilot projects for what are called microgrids. Okay. So we will be developing isolated systems that power either a village or a combination of villages to provide them with power. We are partnering with Belize Electricity Limited to conduct these projects. What we are looking at is we will be doing generation from, primarily it's going to be solar power with battery backup and some type of diesel generation just as a backup. It's not as a primary source. So these are hybrid systems. We are looking to produce or install it in 5 villages right now with the current funds that we're doing. But what we're also doing is we're doing a mapping exercise of the entire country to determine what is best to serve the different communities, whether it be traditional grid extensions through Belize Electricity Limited or through the use of these microgrids. Okay. While this program does not cover all the villages, it will develop the framework on how to connect the other villages as well.
The government of Belize is in the process of updating its National Energy Policy 2011 with technical assistance from the European Union. The exercise has, to date, resulted in the formulation of a document referred to as the Green Paper. The Green Paper was evaluated by Cabinet earlier this month and given the green light. The document is described as a policy framework that builds on opportunities for more sustainable approaches in energy management and infrastructural development to decentralize the distribution of energy resources. It also looks at measures to achieve national energy security. The Belize National Energy Policy Development process is now in its second round of stakeholder consultations, which began this morning in Belize City. Ryan Cobb told us more.
This policy is stated around 7 main pillars. These are all centered around having greater energy security when it comes to electricity generation from more renewable energy sources. Also, the choice of generation, such as how to see how we can allow distributed generation within the country. So that means your rooftop solars for both residents, commercials, industry. We're also looking at energy security, such as fuels for vehicles, hydrocarbons. But we're also looking at emerging technologies, such as electric transportation, both in the private and the public sector. So these are just some of the lines that are at the core of the energy policy that we're discussing today. Whenever you have new investments within the country, there's two major factors that they look at. One is the cost of labor, and the second one is the cost of energy to do the products that they want to do. We currently rank somewhere in the highest within the region, within Central America. Within the Caribbean, we're quite competitive, but within the Central America, we're ranked the highest. And if we manage to reduce our energy costs, we can get products much more competitive both nationally, regionally, and internationally. And the quality of our products are already there. We sometimes demand a premium on our products that do reach the international markets.
As you heard, the National Energy Policy 2023 will seek to integrate distributed generation within the country's power grid. This is also a topic that was raised at a Public Utilities Commission event earlier this week in Belize City. The word is quickly moving towards the application of solar energy through rooftop solar systems. So, what does the chairman at the Belize Electricity Limited, Andrew Marshallek, think about this move for Belize? Well, he says BEL supports the move and has already made its proposals to the PUC. The issue of pricing, however, remains a hot-button issue.
That comes under the terminology what's called distributive generation, because it seeks to generate energy over your distribution lines as distinct from your transmission lines. You're going back from residences into the system rather than from the normal network to residences with the flow of power. We've already put forth our proposals to the PUC a long time ago on how we should deal with that. But the issue is not whether or not it should be allowed. It clearly should be. And there's a strong future for it. It's the extent of the role BL will play in that process. And of course, pricing. And we have put forward formulas. We've hired consultants, have taken advice, and have put forward a formal position many months ago regarding distributive generation. In fact, we encourage it. We also encourage BL's participation in it. It comes down to pricing. You see, when you have a supply of electricity from rooftops back onto the grid, there is this conception that the price that the consumer should get for it should be the price it pays to BL. But that's not the case. BL actually buys power at a wholesale price. That price that you're referring to is a retail price. So there would be a difference. It wouldn't be a full 100% netting. And then there's also a capacity charge for BL maintaining its system, standing outside your door idle while you take power from your rooftop. The mere maintenance of the system there, standing idle, has a cost. So there's certain capacity charges that must be built into the pricing.
Ryan Cobb, the Energy Director at the Ministry of Energy, was also asked about the advantages of seismic testing when we caught up with him today. With reports that the government of Belize has voiced intentions to conduct seismic tests in the exclusive economic zone, Cobb gave us his take on the benefits of such an exercise from the perspective of the energy sector. Here is what he had to say.
I can speak from the perspective from the energy sector, wherein we always try to track our progress. And the only way that you can track your progress is by forming a baseline, gathering all the information that can possibly be gathered and make the best possible solution from that information. And I believe that both the Prime Minister and the Minister of Blue Economy have expressed the same sentiment, and that's what we're looking for. When it comes to, like I said, electricity, we are looking to leverage all renewable energy sources. So that is one of the biggest priorities that we have. We're looking to electrify other processes, such as electric mobility. Again, that would reduce your dependence on hydrocarbons as well.
When we return, concerns raised during first session of People's Constitution Commission meeting.
My lights, yeah. Go to my lights, go to my lights. You gotta go to my lights, yeah. I wanna shine, 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 shine. I hit my lights cause that's my plan, 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 plan. My lights have your favorite brand, 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 brand. Just come with nothing in your hands, 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 hands. My lights, and it goes on and on and on. It goes on and on and on, yeah. I wanna celebrate with my lights, sing yeah, yo, baby let's go. My lights, I wanna celebrate with my lights, sing yeah, yo, baby let's go. We going to the stores, but we gon' do right. We gon' light a life, only with my light. We going to the stores, but we gon' do right. We gon' light a life, only with my light.
The IBL committee will be bringing out the rings and trophies this Saturday, November 26th at the Belize Civic Center. Will this be the end of the tournament? And will 15 kings be crowned? Or will there be a decisive and third game 3? This Saturday, the Belize Civic Center will not be the same. A king not named Charles will possibly be crowned, or a superstar will force a game 3. Will there be a champion?
They all walk like a champion, talk like a champion. What a piece of money.
7:30 p.m. will be the battle for 3rd and 4th place between the Belize Coast Guard and the Belize Water Service. And then,
let's get ready to rumble. If you are what you say you are.
In the grand finale of the night, the superstars will be out in game 2 of the best of 3 series. Rico Black and the Toughing of Tours, led by Francis Naitiarana, Ian Renee and Jamal Kelly drew first blood and are now ready to close off the Central Health Customs Squad, led by the #1 point guard in the land, Glency Cooper Lopez, alongside Akeem Evans and Stephen Wade, seeking to force it all the way to game 3. Breaking news caught up to a Toughing of player after their big W. What message you have for the Central Health Customs guys?
Tell her that the series over and we're about to.
The halftime will feature the young and dynamic Belize superstar Yastalia performing her hit song Tropic.
In the tropics, I'm the hot topic. I built the tribe, I'm living
just another level. Bring out the entire family this Saturday, November 26th to the Belize Civic Center. Sponsors: Racina's Imports, J&W Supermarket, Mahib's Wholesale, Barefoot Hotel, Cabana Used Clothing, Midway Wholesale, Mirage Belize, Car Guys, Harris Import, Prestige Auto Sales, Cellular World, Posh and Store, VIP Wireless, Nando's Wholesale, Benny's Home Center, Crystal Water, Sprite, Powerade, Travelers, Channel 5 and Channel 7, Creme, Wave, Love FM and More FM. Let's get it on!
You want a mobile service provider that allows you to stay connected with fast, reliable LTE coverage anytime, anywhere. Whether it's just to catch up with family, to share that experience with your one special friend, or to manage your small business. Whatever's your thing, you deserve to have the best mobile experience. Now you can do even more while on the go with the increased anytime data allowance in Digi's mobile postpaid plans. You now enjoy 8 gigs of anytime data starting at only $55 monthly. Or share up to 120 gigs of anytime data with up to 6 of your closest friends. That's more LTE data for you to enjoy during the day, nights, and weekends. No restrictions. So keep your gigs up with more data plus unlimited talk and text in all Digi postpaid plans. Visit a Digi store near you to sign up today. All you need is a valid ID and proof of address. It's time to get on Belize's fastest mobile 4G LTE advanced network. Visit livedigi.com to find out more, or hit us up on WhatsApp or Facebook. Digi, our national telecom.
The inaugural meeting of the People's Constitution Commission took place today at the House of Culture in Belize. But from the get-go, there were concerns raised by some of the representatives who make up the commission. The media was allowed to sit in on the morning session, which was spent mostly on introductions of those representatives. But as was picked up in the following report, commissioners are keenly in tune and raise objections from pretty early in the process. Here's Marian Ali with the details.
While there may arise occasions that might seek to divide us as a team, let us always try to remember that in this exercise, it is not about us, but about our nation, our people.
The first order of business for the 23 member groups that make up the People's Constitution Commission is for all their representatives to sign an oath of office or an affirmation before a commissioner of the Supreme Court in order that their appointment is deemed valid. But even before that initial phase could be completed, there was a concern raised. One member raised issue with the last line of the oath, which reads, quote, "So help me God," unquote. Following the morning session, Commission Chairman Anthony Chanona explained how this will be handled.
It's such a beautiful constitution. It provides for, if you do not want to say, "So help me God," it says, you affirm your oath of office. So what we'll be signing this afternoon, or when we resume, for those who do not want to say, "So help me God," signs the affirmation of the oath.
The Commission's duty is to make extensive amendments and revise, where necessary, the Constitution of Belize. Today, the 20 entities of the Commission that were present, including the University of Belize, the Belize Chamber of Commerce and Industry, the Belize Creole Council, the National Garifuna Council, the Mayas, and the Bar Association, began their first day of work. The Public Service Commission is represented by its president, Dean Flowers.
Hoping that coming out of this process, we'll see a constitution that, of course, protects citizens' rights, and more importantly, guards citizens against government abuses, and restore some balance of power, and of course ensure that minority groups are protected.
The media, also known as the Fourth Estate, is also on the commission, represented by Pastor Louis Wade Jr.
If our personal agendas supersede the will of the people, they will let us know in no uncertain terms. It has happened in many parts of the world where groups like this have met for periods of time like this and driven by personal agendas over time, the people have shut them down.
But the oath of these commissioners will hold them to a degree of silence, or in this case, confidentiality in the information they share with the media. So we asked Chanona how that should be interpreted.
There's nothing secret about the people's business. But the law prescribes for an oath of confidentiality. And certainly in engaging the media and engaging the Belizean people.
The media does represent a large population, yes, of the wider public.
Yes.
And so then what is withheld from the media would be withheld, argumentatively speaking, would be withheld from those people.
And we have no such intention, Marianne, to withhold. As a matter of fact, going into this process, and looking at best practices in other parts of the world, to leave the media out is to invite problems of transparency and accountability. That's why we invited the media to this session.
The current constitution has been in existence since September of 1981. Reporting for News 5, I'm Marion Ali.
In January of 2021, the government of Belize announced that it had sued the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago in the Caribbean Court of Justice over an alleged breach of the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas. At the end of those proceedings, the CCJ dismissed the claims brought by Belize for a lack of evidence. But the CCJ's adjudication of this matter is one example of the Caribbean's apex court fulfilling the intended purpose. The CCJ is the only court with jurisdiction to interpret and apply the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas when allegations pertaining to a breach of treaty obligations arise. And while that matter was between two states, individual members of any CARICOM state can also bring claims against member states for breach of treaty obligations. National courts are, however, obligated to refer all questions and issues pertaining to the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas to the CCJ. Today, the Caribbean Court of Justice and the CCJ Academy for Law, in collaboration with the Supreme Court of Belize, launched a 2-day inaugural referral workshop series to provide a greater understanding of these referral obligations. Here is more from the opening ceremony.
The judiciary of Belize, the magistracy, and tribunals in Belize are important since we are clothed with the responsibility of ensuring that the rights that are conferred by the treaty are properly respected and enforced. Consequently, this training and sensitization program is critical for all of us in order to facilitate a deeper understanding about the referral process under Article 214 of the RTC. It is expected that at the conclusion of this training, we will be better equipped to deal with matters that arise and require reference to the CCJ in circumstances where the question of the interpretation or application of the RTC can arise in any of our matters before us. I want to emphasize that there is a duty on judges, magistrates, and tribunals to refer to the CCJ once the question of interpretation or application of the treaty arises. We have no discretion.
There have been many instances when breach of treaty obligations can be alleged and pursued. But I don't think people are fully cognizant of it. There have been issues in Belize about the importation of Presidente Beer, I can remember, about the importation of Pepsi from Jamaica, I can remember, and licensing and issues at port. There are issues touching and concerning exchange control restrictions which prohibit financial transactions among Caribbean territories. There are lots of issues that can find its way to the court. And the idea is that if everybody becomes aware of the jurisdiction and aware of how to use it, you will see more of these issues coming forward. And with community law being developed, you'll have more life being breathed into the treaty and its intended benefits for members of the community.
We have made a point that Belize has used the interstate route of getting to the CCJ, and that is the very first time in the history of the CCJ that we have had one state sue another state, that is to say Belize suing Trinidad and Tobago, unprecedented. But it is also important to realize that ordinary citizens can have access to the court through proceeding in their domestic courts. So whenever there's a case which starts in the domestic court, which involves an issue or a question to do with the interpretation of the revised treaty, the domestic court is obliged to stay proceedings and to refer that question to the CCJ for an interpretation. Okay. And all that happens is that the CCJ provides the interpretation, and then the local court takes that interpretation and resolves the dispute before it. So that it's a collaboration, really.
According to the president of the Bar Association, Senior Counsel Andrew Marshall-Eck, the Judicial and Legal Services Commission is already in the process of making appointments to fill vacant posts within the judiciary. Earlier this year, 4 new justices from the Commonwealth were sworn in to serve in the Civil and Criminal Division of the Belize Supreme Court. Those justices were hired for a term of 1 year to assist with the court's backlog, and those contracts are about to expire. Well, Marshall-Eck says the public need not worry because there will be no disruptions. In the same vein, he shared his disappointment over the neglect of the building that houses the Belize City Magistrate Court.
Well, the posts are already being advertised. They were already advertised from before, and the process of making appointments by the Judicial and Legal Services Commission are well underway. Okay. So we expect those posts to be filled and there to be no disruption at all to the activities of the court. Apart, of course, from the roof falling in. That, of course, needs to be repaired to post haste.
Okay, what can you tell us about that particular matter in terms of the inconvenience it's causing litigants, you think?
Well, there's a lot of inconvenience to litigants. Luckily, we had already moved to virtual hearings during COVID, so we have the experience of doing it outside the physical plant. So that will continue, but the physical plant needs to be restored and needs to be restored to its former glory. The buildings in which courts sit should be reflective of our views as a society of the importance of justice.
It shouldn't be dilapidated.
No, and it shouldn't be neglected in the way those buildings have been neglected. So I'm hoping that this is a turning point in that, and that type of thing doesn't happen again.
Just ahead, Cayo resident wins $50,000 from Scratch and Win.
The IBL committee will be bringing out the rings and trophies this Saturday, November 26th at the Belize Civic Center. Will this be the end of the tournament? And will 15 kings be crowned? Or will there be a decisive and third game 3? This Saturday, the Belize Civic Center will not be the same. A king not named Charles will possibly be crowned, or a superstar will force a game 3. Will there be a champion?
They all walk like a champion, talk like a champion. What a piece of money.
7:30 p.m. will be the battle for 3rd and 4th place between the Belize Coast Guard and the Belize Water Service. And then,
let's get ready to rumble. If you are what you say you are.
In the grand finale of the night, the superstars will be out in Game 2 of the Best of 3 series. Rico Black and the Toughen of Tours, led by Francis Naitiarana, Ian Renee and Jamal Kelly drew first blood and are now ready to close off the Central Health Customs Squad, led by the #1 point guard in the land, Glency Cooper Lopez, alongside Akeem Evans and Stephen Wade, seeking to force it all the way to Game 3. Breaking news caught up to a tough enough player after their big W. What message you have for the Central Health Customs guys?
Tell them that the series over and we're about to.
The halftime will feature the young and dynamic Belize superstar Yastalia performing her hit song Tropics.
In the tropics, I'm the hot topic. I built the tribe, I'm living
just another level. Bring out the entire family this Saturday, November 26th to the Belize Civic Center. Sponsors: Racinos Imports, J&W Supermarket, Mahib's Wholesale, Barefoot Hotel, Cabana Used Clothing, Midway Wholesale, Mirage Belize, Car Guys, Harris Import, Prestige Auto Sales, Cellular World, Posh and Store, VIP Wireless, Nando's Wholesale, Benny's Home Center, Crystal Water, Sprite, Powerade, Travelers, Channel 5 and Channel 7, Creme, Wave, Love FM and More FM. Let's get it on!
Smart introduces Real Unlimited Postpaid Plans, providing customers with unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data. Now that's a real great deal. With Smart Plus, Share 1 and 2, and Enterprise 1 and 2 plans, you can talk as much as you want, text as much as you want, and for the first time ever in Belize, you can enjoy unlimited data with your postpaid plan. So come in and sign up for an unlimited postpaid plan and enjoy limitless possibilities. In addition, other plans such as the Flex Junior, Choice, and Select have been boosted with a lot more talk, text, and data, providing you with the best value for your budget. Be unlimited with Smart.
It's time to power your dollar with Smart.
After a rough week of school, Jake and his friends decide to treat themselves to frozen coffee. And since they don't have cash on them, they decide to use eCash. With eCash's geolocation feature, Jake can easily find the nearest coffee spot. With eCash's built-in option to split bills, Jake can pay the bill and his friends can reimburse their portion of the bill. Jake scans the merchant's code and confirms payment. Jake then views his transaction history and taps on the transaction recently made, then taps the Split the Bill button where he selects the Evenly option to evenly split the bill. The application splits the bill automatically. His friends receive and accept the request. Geolocation and splitting the bill via eCash makes Jake enjoy his digital lifestyle.
NextGen takes you to Qatar. Catch the live action and excitement of FIFA World Cup 2022 from November 20th to December 18th exclusively on NextGen. Make the switch and sign up today. Packages start as low as $5. NextGen, the official broadcaster of FIFA World Cup in Belize.
There is a $50,000 scratch and win winner from the Cayo District tonight. Today, Lewis made his way over to our office on Coney Drive, along with Scratch and Win director Alex Gamero, to share in the excitement. After taxes, the lucky winner took home a check for $42,500. As we found out today, this is the second time that Lewis is winning. And back in June, he took home $2,000. The win comes just in time for the Christmas season.
This is a blessing, especially at this time. Every bit counts.
You've been a player. I understand that earlier this year you also won?
Yes, in June, sometime in June, I won $2,000. And now I was surprised to see that I won the $50,000.
It has to come in handy for this Christmas season, right?
Definitely.
You don't have your plans, what you're going to do with this money?
About half of it is already spent, you know. I already owe most of it, and medical bills and everything. So, yes.
So, you continue to play without a doubt?
Well, I have been, I buy every now and then when I go to the shop and so, and I see the tickets, I sometimes buy. So, I know that if I don't buy, I can't win. So I try my best. Every now and then I buy, and twice I have been victorious. Many times, $5, $2 and so. But twice it has been a good little amount.
We have the best payouts, the best prizes in the world, and that gets reflected in these huge prizes, you know. $50,000 for Luis. That will definitely change his life for the better. For every one person that comes in and wins 50 grand, you have hundreds, thousands of people that win 500, 150, 10, and so on and so forth. So for every one person you see in the news, there's 1,000 other people out there that have won money. This $2 ticket, Lucky 7 has two $10,000 prizes. Nobody has come in to claim them, so those are out there somewhere. We have this $3 ticket, the Loteria or Chalupa, as a lot of us, you know, we grew up and we called it Chalupa. This has a $20,000 prize that nobody has won. And it's actually a really fun game to play. It's exactly like the board game. And we have this $5 ticket, Cash Blast, with a $50,000 prize. Nobody has won this one. So I think if you get these three tickets, you probably have a good chance to be on the news next, like Lewis.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available in both text and streaming video at channel5belize.com. You can also connect with us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/News5Live. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us. And from all of us here at News 5, please remember to wash your hands, keep your social distance, and stay safe. Good night.